But I always wanted to ask you, angkat in Malay,
I know.
angkat means not circumcised.
Not circumcised, yeah, I know. Alright guys, welcome to another episode of Uncut. Today we have a very important guest and his name is none other than Mr. Suhaimi Yusof.
Hello.
I'm sure you know who he is, but let him introduce himself.
Okay, my name is Suhaimi Yusof. I've been in this industry for almost about 38 years, entertainment
Wow,
industry.
you look like 38 years old.
I look like 38?
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite old already.
Oh shit.
Yeah, since I was 16, I was exposed to radio. Then I started out with the Malay radio station, and then after that, from there, the year after that, I was involved in TV. And then, of course, halfway through, then I left Mediacorp. In 2001, I just wanted to explore a little bit more, and that's where I went into a bit more mainstream since 2001, and then I acted. So I acted, my first ever acting was actually in Living with Lydia.
Oh,
yeah, I was never known.
I'm too young for that.
Too young for that.
I think.
Oh, very nice lady, very nice lady. The late Lydia. That was my very first acting in an English sitcom. I was never known as an actor in the Malay world. They know me as a host, they know me as a radio DJ.
Yes.
They never see me as an actor. Then when I went over to Channel 5, I was offered an acting role. And I said, how do I do this? How do I do this? And I thought like acting, I said, you know how gong I was back then, so ignorant.
Suddenly different.
Yeah, I didn't know that the TV works like that, few cameras. And so what happened was I memorized the whole first script of the whole episode.
Wow.
Yeah, because I thought it was something like theatre. I have a little bit of theatre exposure.
Okay.
So
theatre
I memorized.
has to be one shot.
One shot,
Yeah.
and then you have to remember other people's lines, so that you cannot make mistake, you cannot stop during a theatre performance, right? So I memorized the whole.
No NG lah, no
Can you
NG.
imagine?
Yeah. Wow, that is impressive.
Then I realized that, wait a minute, because I was doing it on my own. Then I realized they say, okay, cut, we do that again, cut, we do that again, cut, change angle, cut, change angle. I say, hey, why the heck did I memorize the whole script? That was how virgin I was in the world of acting. So to summarize everything, so in the Malay world, I was known as a funny host and a radio DJ.
Yes.
Never actor. On Channel 5, I was known as an actor. Never as a host, never as a
So you have your two identities.
Yeah, so I have to like wear two hats, wear two pants, wear two shirts, everything. But then, cool. One day, then the Malay side, they actually asked me, can you act? I said, what do you mean? I've been acting for so long already. What do you mean? You didn't see? I was in Police and TV. Then, the Channel 5
they never
people,
communicate.
They never know. Then the Channel 5 people was asking me, can you host a show? I said, what do you mean a host? I've been hosting all my life. So that was very interesting. So the merging lah. So it's like suddenly nasi lemak got fishball lah.
So now integrated lah.
Today with social media, I think everything mambo jumbo, everything
all together. Yeah.
All together.
So what have you been busy for the last couple of years?
My life has been quite a variety. I call myself the buffet spread guy.
Buffet spread.
Yeah, because I think
because you have fish balls and
everything.
Cuttlefish.
When I started with radio, right? So I think to me it's like very curious. I wanted to do a lot of things and find out certain things. So I mean, how do you become a radio broadcaster back then when every day, 4 hours a day, you go into the studio, Conti, call it, and then you talk about certain things. I say, how do you talk like that and you got so many things to talk about. So I decided to do a little bit more variety lah. So sometimes I was in the studio, then I get my partner to actually stay at the studio, and then I'll be like driving to Adam Road, talk to the hawker, stuff like that. So like using my phone. So we're experimenting. So I like variety in my life because every day is a different day to me. Yes. It's not that I'm job hopping or whatever, but you do something, and then after that, you expand the horizon within the dimension
you
itself.
give it more variety, more spice.
Yeah, because there's so many other things that we can do within a little subject. For example, if you're a chef, I mean, you can't be like cooking all the time in the kitchen, right? That's one part of it. But then again, how you cook? What else do you cook? How do you experiment? That experimentation, that caponess, gives you that dimension. It's a different dynamic.
Gives you a deeper meaning to what they are doing.
Yeah,
I
and
feel.
it's very exciting
Yeah.
because you don't get to do or you don't get to see the same thing again and again. So if you ask me what am I busy with, I'm busy with the world.
You're busy with the world.
Busy
Wow,
with the
very
world.
good. So how?
Shifting,
No, so it's like I think what you're doing back then maybe you're really quite ahead of its time.
I guess so
Right?
because I think we were young and
Bring out of the studio and habitat, doing
Yeah,
the
yeah.
stuff that you are doing.
I was using, there was one time I went to Hajj, a pilgrimage at the age of 25. Usually people go to Hajj or pilgrims maybe at a later stage of their life, like 60, but I decided to go 25.
25, yeah.
Was
The
very
youngest
young.
guy there.
Yeah, and that happened to be, at the time there was this introduction of this satellite phone called produced by Motorola. So what happened was, apart from the normal pilgrimage, so I decided there was a little break. I went up the mountain. So from on top of the mountain, I called the Studio Conti.
Really?
I said, this is the first ever live report from top of a mountain.
That is the first live stream, eh?
Yeah. Live stream. So it's like, hey, you can do this. And ever since that, we've been using that for live, we call it roving reports. Yeah, so we begin to like, hey, I feel like, I was just stumbled the whole thing by accident and suddenly it's incorporated into the whole package lah, so when they whole system. So show. So I say, hey, to me at that time, like radio show doesn't have to be in a studio all the time. We can do it everywhere. I even was thinking like, I suggested to my boss at that time, why don't we do the morning show at the Kelong?
At the Kelong,
Oh, that'll be
really
interesting, man.
remote locations while
Yeah.
doing it there. I mean now it's happening.
Yeah.
So you're probably one of the pioneers that actually
Maybe.
started it, right?
Hopefully.
I think so.
Yeah. But the response from my boss is like, are you nuts? I said, no, this is technology, man.
Yeah, this technology,
Just experiment, never knew. We don't do. You see, the thing is because most of us, we're afraid of creating mistakes.
If you don't do anything, you won't fail, lah, right?
Yeah, don't be afraid of failure. No, failure can, but of course we avoid those major errors. Major errors.
Nothing to kill you, lah.
Nothing to kill you, doesn't get you in prison, that kind of thing. But mistakes, you must make one because if there's no courage, there's no error. If there's no error, you will never get the bravery to experiment. You never progress. Yeah, so it's like, living in a society where up, cannot do. Now we can do. That's why people say, living in Singapore, is it boring? So I get like some overseas friends.
You must ask you. Then you must tell them how
I
to
say,
be
seriously,
not boring.
No, I say, okay, you have a big country, but how big is your house? And what do you do every day, right? Because your backyard, our tiny little small backyard, so it's up to you to turn the whole thing into something exciting. So I was using that for my career. And I said, no matter what you give me, that tiny little space also, I said it's not just physical space. I'm talking about the space right here. So it's the mind that is open up.
Well, that's a very good mindset.
Yeah. So I kind of like, okay, to be honest, there are so many things I'm doing right now. I'll be with Bernard Lim, will be presenting the evening drive time show called Suban Show. That's on Power 98. So back to my old days of becoming a DJ again.
Come one full circle.
Yeah.
So with Bernard Lim.
Bernard Lim, yeah. So because both of us, we had the unfortunate incident of the stroke.
Yes.
So that brought us together. So I call it the stroke of luck.
Stroke of luck. I was thinking stroke buddies, but that doesn't sound stroke of luck better.
Stroke of luck.
You are in this line for a reason.
And then I told Bernard, hey, I think for us, because he had a different stroke, I had a different stroke. So we call it different strokes.
Different strokes.
Life lesson. So he had stroke when he was way back in 2014. And he got it in April 2014. And I had my experience of stroke April 2024. That's exactly 10 years. Yeah, so when I had that, then he reached out to me because we were colleagues back then, many years ago. Then he said, hey bro, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, okay, I think when I'm up and going, I'm okay already, why don't we just go for a coffee? So we sat down, we get coffee, and then suddenly we had this idea. So we approached Power 98 and say, hey, let's do something that we are okay with. So we go one circle, we'll be doing a lot of things, and I think this is like, you're doing too much, sometimes you overstretch yourself.
Yes.
And I say this is a life lesson that we can share with everyone. I say
Amazing.
it comes in full circle, and I say we go back to where we started.
Yeah, no, it's the same for him. What he also started a radio DJ, and then one come full circle.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's one of the preparations today, and then of course the other will be like part of Fly Entertainment. So I'm now also helping out with Irene as the what call it, the creative chief creative.
Chief creative.
So I have no idea what it
So
means.
dual roles lah.
Yeah.
You have no idea what
as
it
an
means.
artist,
but
also
it's,
chief creative.
as long as you get paid lah.
No, I wanted to be chief of army. Chief of creative of Fly. Okay, Fly kite.
Can lah, same lah.
Can.
Can lah.
Yeah. So that if you want to ask me a whole encyclopedia, I will give you a whole encyclopedia.
That one we can take it offline. But what
we also just one more very important one is also I'm coming out with this. It's a rap. So I composed and wrote the lyrics, and this is a rap about being smart. Smart is a jargon for us to stay ahead of time, how to avoid stroke. It is
SMART
avoidable.
is the short form for...
Yeah, it's an acronym for abbreviation. Acronym for SMART. Something like they come out like S, stop smoking. M will be meals, healthy meals.
So this is your own version of SMART lah.
So we collaborating with some people or agents, or especially the Ministry of Health and all that,
okay.
because they say that why don't we use this opportunity
To give
just
awareness.
spread awareness.
That's great.
Oh,
Can
nak bukan rapper.
Aku nak rapper.
Aku nak rapper, man. I tell you, last time I used to wrap up all those gifts and things for you. Now I want to wrap it up, man.
So after after having a stroke, how do you keep your energy? Like you are like more energetic than me, bro. I'm stressed, bro.
Pre-stroke, before stroke, or any other kind of ailments, I think most importantly, is do not let anybody or do not let anything dominate your mind. Because the mind controls your body, the mind controls everything, your output. So your inner self, your mind has to be positive all the time. As a matter of fact, because I didn't start as a comedian. I started as a radio DJ, and sometimes in the little conversation like this, I was just imagining I'm talking to the microphone, but I'm actually talking to hundreds and thousands of people.
Yes.
So I had to imagine in my head that somebody is not having a good day, somebody is starting a work, so everyone would have their own little set of problems.
So your empathy goes a long way.
And then you slowly, subtly motivate people, and in the process of doing that over the years, I suddenly found that I'm actually, the more you motivate people, it's actually self-motivation.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, so it's just like doing charity. Make somebody happy. I have not heard anyone who has done good deeds like that feel bad after that.
Actually it feels really good when you help someone.
Yes,
exactly.
So, no matter how small or how big the deeds that you do, so that somehow formed a formula in my head. Then when I'm down, when you're doing that, when you're okay, when everything is normal, then it becomes part of the system. It's very important because when you're down, that system continues. So I become like a little bit more, at the hospital I was like joking with the nurses and the doctors and, having fun. I didn't do stand-up comedy. I was doing in the bed comedy.
In the bed lah.
Yeah, so
it's just spreading joy and laughter wherever you go.
The ability is to laugh at yourself, not laugh at us, laugh at the situation. Lighten up the burden a bit. So when the nurses came in, every hospital, every 10 minutes or 15 minutes, they will come in and take my blood. And they say, why you take the blood down here? Take the blood down here, the clog up is right here. and then what you going to do with the blood? You Dracula.
Clear the system.
Yeah, take the whole thing out here. Yeah, what do you do with my blood? It's like, can I, I was jokingly telling the nurse, can I just give me the form? That I donate blood every 15 minutes. I think I'll probably have the
1 gallon.
Yeah, it will be mentioned on National Day. Suhaimi Yusof donated blood every 15 minutes when he was in hospital. So turn things around a little bit, and I think that has a placebo effect. That somehow turn your life into a bit more positive. You don't look suspicious towards other people. You're not thinking that this world is like. When we hear all those bad news, especially in the world of social media today.
Yes.
It's like every 5 minutes or every 5 seconds there will be news. Well, they call it news.
They call it news,
I call it conflicts.
Conflicts.
Yeah, so it's like you fight every day because usually those kind of news travel faster. People love conflicts.
People like the gossip. People like
Yeah.
negative part of the news.
That's why we watch movie. All the movies are always like car chasing, explosion,
yeah.
kind of, Fast and Furious, all those Star Wars. It's like war. Nobody make a movie. This fella, have breakfast, go to work.
Nobody will watch.
Happy with the colleague, come back home, kiss the wife.
They want no drama.
The dog. Yeah, then it's like, what movie is this? They want like, what happened? The dog was skinned alive. The colleague was backstabbing this person. So they kind of like, so when you put that into reality, there's so much of this negative news, and this negative news travel faster than the speed of light.
Definitely.
Even Superman gave up, used to run faster than the train. So with this, I think we have to balance it up. We still have to continue. I know it's like majority will be negative, but here we are, must be the positive energy lah. Just like feel good. Do something like what we're doing right now. We do a little bit of feel good. There's nothing wrong
Spreading
because
positivity.
Yeah, there also feel good movies. There are feel good songs. You can hear instead of listening. I think back then there was this song. What happened to me? I make no mistakes, but there's no way to run and fading away. This is like
Sing it some more,
yeah, you're gonna commit suicide when you hear that kind of song. But when you hear songs like that, though it's darker than December, so it's like bring it higher and higher and higher. So that it's up to you. You choose your life because nobody put a gun in your head.
Nobody force you to make that decision or what to listen or what to think or what to feel.
True, and it's not too bad because when I had the stroke, then I realized that this is just one of the things, and fortunately, and because of that, I think somehow the doctor was saying, on an average scale, it will be about 3 to 6 months to recover. Because but then again, they were surprised. They say, hey, motor skills are okay. I still can smile and talk. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I did that. When the speech therapies came, and then she said, can you pronounce this? Can you pronounce that? I said, what do you mean? I can even do this. Before time began, this summer, when the world makes me... I can still do voiceover. I was like, you want to learn or not? That's what you want to learn. So then somehow we laugh, and then instead of 3 to 6 months, I recovered within just 4 weeks.
Wow.
That's 3.5 weeks, in fact.
That's amazing recovery.
That's why I didn't stay in the hospital for so long. I stayed there about 10 days. Because they wanted to make sure and had me over again for another 1 more week. I say, what's the point? Doctor, you tell me how much does this machine cost, that machine cost, how much is it bed? I buy the whole thing and put it in my house because it's better at the house.
The house then.
Because the environment is you can have a little bit more freedom,
time
somewhere familiar, because hospitals sometimes is good for short term but not good for long term.
Not good.
Yeah, so that somehow become part of the medication. I hope they learn a little bit of this and then
but not everyone
can.
Not everyone can buy the equipment like you lah.
No. Oh, just joking. Anyway, I can't afford the whole thing is very expensive. But what I'm saying is basically, when you are in a situation like that, everybody has their own problem. Everybody has the money problem. Everybody will have the relationship problem. But problem is part of life. Without problem, there is no solution. Without solution, there is no intellectual development. So we need problem. Problem is like sambal,
Stimulus.
You must have, because otherwise no problem. Then you eat everything all bland. You must have the salt, you must have the chili, you must have the sugar,
some spice.
But not too much of it lah. Too much problem also.
Also
you eat chili also got problem. So I guess that's basically my journey lah. So in that manner, it's not when you hit with something and then you start to think positive. No, when you're doing your work, whether you're at the office, everywhere you go is the same.
It's a basic fundamental formula for life.
For people who work at the office and all that, it's like wake up in the morning, go traffic jam, and then I was doing something, then this fella took away my credit. I didn't know anything, and then after they took away the credit for it. So backstabbing, somebody will go out. So a problem is always there. And then when you're doing on your own, so I'm pretty sure you do your own business as well, right? Nobody knows. The old people only know you, the big car that you have, the big face, and it's like, wow, he must have been doing very well, huh? Yeah, but then again, you sit down and then you start to think, like, I can't even pay this friend this month. Yeah, but first is of course the option, the option that you need. What kind of choice? Because it's you who choose. Nobody choose for you. Not even your parents. Not even your siblings.
No, you are the one that made the decision.
You choose to buy that 4-story bungalow. It's you. You choose to live a life like that. I go out, I have to wear tuxedo. You go to hawker center, I wear tuxedo. It's you. You can just wear something nice, cheaper and
simple like to match the environment. Yeah. So talking about bungalow, are you staying in one?
No. The funny thing is when we get involved with the showbiz, right? This is expected. Expected at least minimum. You will be like a very huge condominium.
Yeah.
That is expected out of personality. But I'll be very frank and honest, because whenever people going this way, right, they expect me to spend money and. I read a lot of articles on this before that, because I was joining in. So I said, you see, the examples I can give is, if you take a look at Warren Buffett, and you take a look at, back then, I think I was reading about Bill Gates, and then who's the Apple founder, Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, yeah.
You notice that they wear the same clothes? And they,
that's
Bill
their branding.
Gates, yeah, Bill Gates was driving a very almost rundown car, 1970s type. And Warren Buffett, I think at the time he was staying, if I'm not mistaken, the article said that he was staying in a 3-room flat. I said, he's a billionaire, man. And then who stays in those kind of huge houses? Michael Jackson, MC Hammer. You know what happened? Because these people have no intelligence when it comes to financial literacy.
Literacy.
So I got my lesson. First lesson is like when I enter into this showbiz, right? I start to observe people around. I look at them. Why are they behaving this way? There must be something. So only those who spend so much money in big, huge houses, thinking that they will sell the property elsewhere, are actually those people who have no financial literacy. They don't know about money. They know about currency. They can't tell the difference between currency and money. Money has intrinsic value. Currency does not have. That's why it moves. So all those celebrities, right? Kim Basinger bought a whole island. For what? And then she went bankrupt. MC Hammer, when he was right at the top, he was usually spend money on this and that, on his clothes, on his cars, and then of course booze, girls and all that. Because they don't know how to handle the money. Then when I take a look at the other group, so people like Anthony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, so you must read a lot. And I say, wait a minute, Warren Buffett stayed in a 3-room flat? So that make a decision. I said, living in Singapore, because we have public housing.
Yes.
The reason why we have public housing, that when you read all the way to the beginning of how public housing came about, is because the late leader of Singapore, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, he said, we built this for one flat.
His intention is to really make housing affordable for citizens.
And this is through an observation that around the region elsewhere also, that we realize there's a lot of homeless. So we want to eradicate this thing. I say, hey, the problem already solved. So with that, and combined with this experience of MC Hammer and Michael Jackson and all that, Never Land, so I decided to buy a HDB flat and finish off paying it many years ago.
Oh wow!
Done. I'm not indebted to anything.
So what? How big is it?
Oh, it's a 4-room flat. It's a resale flat somewhere in Serangoon, Braddell Heights.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Then Mr. Sia Kemping came over to the house and said, Mr. Sia, look! They expect me to live in a 4-story bungalow. I have a 4-room flat. They don't make those kind of house anymore.
It's very big, the older ones, right?
Yeah, it's so huge. It's like, oh my God, this is like, why am I spending so much money? Today, the house gets smaller, the price gets bigger. This one is like lucky draw like that. The number gets smaller, the price gets bigger. But back then it's so huge. It's like I should have bought jumbo.
You should have.
And you know how much? Yeah, you know how much I bought for the flat? It was okay. Back then was in 1990s and in 2000. And after that, I shifted a bit. I bought my first house that was in Boon Keng, Upper Boon Keng Road. Then there was a 5-room flat. and that cost me about 200,000. And then I sold that off. I bought the one in Serangoon, which is also 200,000, which is a 4-room flat that looks bigger than my 5-room flat. So it was a good deal.
It's a good deal.
Yeah.
Dollar for dollar.
200,000. So it's like, okay, finish it off, man. Done.
So you actually paid off in full?
Full. So I don't owe anybody anything.
Wow, very good.
Yeah.
So now you are living your life.
And of course, I think the other two important things in Singapore as we live, two huge investment actually. At the end of the day, we all come down to these two only. Your home and your transportation. These are the two major investments. Look at the car, man. Today it's like buying a, don't know what, it's like a moving condominium.
It's a moving yes.
Right? So,
moving BTO maybe, yes.
And what I did was, I bought this, because usually that time I bought this Honda, and then every day I had to because tall, big, and sometimes so I do this every day to go into my car. And I had to go, sometimes go acupuncture lah, massage backbone, something wrong. I say, what's wrong? I say, wait a minute. I've been paying this acupuncture, this uncle who massage all the back spots injury. I've been paying him. He's getting rich, and he didn't even tell me. So now I know. My problem was the car was a little bit too low. Yeah, so I fired the acupuncturist. And then I bought a slightly higher car, which is actually Toyota Fortuner.
Oh, that's a big, huge car.
Yeah, it's a 2.7 liter. A couple of years ago. And I bought it at also a good price, because the fella was selling that sometimes you have to really find really good deals. In Singapore there are good deals.
Yes, there are.
And then coincidentally, so I came across this fella was running through. I said, hey, this car, I saw it at Mustafa Center, I was parking there, and then I said, hey, I think this car fits me well. Very tall, handsome.
So you asked for a test drive?
No, I did. I saw that model, Fortuner 2.7 liter, then I told my wife, this guy is very tall, very big, very handsome, like me.
Abang handsome.
Yeah, because I was trying to avoid that backache. And so then I was searching for it, patiently searching for it. Then suddenly I came across this one particular advertisement, and this fella was going back to his country. Returning back to UK. And so he said he want to sell off the car.
Good price, just sell it off.
Yeah, so I went to meet the fella. I said, how much you want to sell this car? He said, okay, this car 75k. 75k on the spot. I say, take. You go. I'll make it easy for you to return to your country. You give me this car. Okay? Then we did
it off you.
So I bought it for 75k. And then I renewed the CO for 10 years, which I paid at that time was 55,000.
Wow, that's a good deal, mate.
But then somehow there was a discounting happening. There was an offer. I don't know why. And then LTA actually returned back another 5K.
Oh yeah, I remember that time. There was this period that they had this road tax COE thing that they refunded.
Yeah, and that car was 2 years old. So then I used the full 8 years with that kind of price, and then I renewed it.
Oh, that's
so
a good deal.
Right, until now. So it has its lifespan still 3 more years to go.
Oh, wow.
So for it, almost, we put it together, 18 years. 18 years I drive for free. Wow. Because I don't like installment. I only buy something that I can afford. I don't want to pay installment. Because installment, work out the interest rate, and in the end you pay up a little bit more. Yeah, because I think it's because when you lead your life, you need to understand the nature of money. What is money? How it works? There are so many information today. So because of that, it liberates certain things. So two major ones. This one paid off, house paid off, car paid off. So technically, I'm working for fun.
You're working for fun.
Then the work become fun.
Yeah,
there's no pressure of finance.
That is very, very interesting, because a lot of people are working to pay off those, but you are just working because you like it.
You like it, yeah. It's not that this is like a totally good story already. I mean, I do come across moments where I went into Longkang. Of course, I opened up a couple of businesses, try out from cafe to coffee shop to production house and all that. And I think not all are bright sparks. There are some cash cow. There are some the cow just went home. So I did lose a lot of money. Yeah, it's almost slightly more than $500,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so that taught me a lesson. No matter how careful, also you still
There's a risk.
kena like that.
Still kena.
But most importantly, you got to be steady, you know.
Yeah.
So when I lost, let's say back then it was like 250,000 cash. I lost it within about 12 days.
Wow,
Just it was a business adventure.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, people would just like, that kind of money you lose, then you go like gong gong already, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's also important to have some spirituality there. So I was talking to God.
You have to.
I was saying like, you know, how many people out there, very handsome one, this fella, pacha face like that, you give me this kind of test. I was like, what? Then I started to laugh. Even in the moment I was crying, I started to laugh. What's wrong with me? I must yell or what? But I think it does automatically kick in. So when I lost money like that, then I was like, hey, wait a minute, never mind. This is a huge mistake. It won't return back somewhere, somehow. You got to stay positive. Yeah, so there are moments like that also when I lost. But then you're down, but you're not defeated. Move on.
I think that's a very strong word. You're down, but you're not defeated.
Move
you
on.
always come back.
Yeah, because thankfully I'm not being patriotic here, but I think living here, growing up here, I think we've come so far together, our common destiny. I think Singapore is a very safe place, very safe.
I think that's that's right. Like you can't refute that, the fact that very safe.
It's very safe in terms of course, security is one. The other one is financially. The other one is there are always people there to help you, and then there's space for you to just you can retreat a little bit. You don't have to go to another country, go inside a cave or something like that. But when you understand the land you're living in and the environment, then you somehow feel a bit thankful. It's like, wait a minute, there's hope. There's hope, man. Relax. Sometimes your neighbor can be your best advisor. Sometimes, brother, sometimes it doesn't come from family, sometimes it comes from family.
Stranger.
Sometimes stranger. Sometimes talking to you like this, give you a couple of ideas. Sometimes it comes from yourself. You just need to let chill.
Yeah.
And then you watch movie. I only watch only a few movies. That movie became my philosophy in life.
What movie?
Share with you. Ever since when I was going to national service, so I like back then 1984. Then a couple of years later, I went to national service after school. The movie that I watched, I think probably more than a few hundred times, was.
A few hundred times.
Seriously, I could even remember the dialogue from beginning until the end. I memorized the whole movie. Predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like, we got to make a stand now. I do what the left, you go to the chopper. It's like, get to the chopper. I even know, I watch it over and over again. And some part is like, hey, can I use this as part of my life and apply it? Yeah, because when somebody say it's impossible, they say, you got to make a stand. You got to learn the tactics, strategic. It's using the trees. Just hunting us like a hunter. And I can even, you remember, if you're not careful, I can remember the Latin words. It's like El Diablo Cazador de Hombres. The demons that make the trophies of man. So it's like, So whenever that I'm down, whenever that you come across a project that you're almost difficult for you to handle, so I would watch this movie again and again. That's one movie. And then the other one is...
watch that movie tonight.
Yeah, please. That's the best. The other Predator movie are all okay, just for commercial only. But this one is like, wow, I think the script writer must have written it with...
his experience.
Yeah, and this is like a battle between the commando of the alien world versus the commando of the Earth world. And that was perfect, man. That's why you don't need really a huge team. You just need 6 people to be the elite team, and that's it. Old pain is back. Payback time. Same kind of move, same kind of jungle. Just we walk out, just you and me, bro, right on top. So it's like, a whole platoon jump into me. I can remember. I can remember all these words. Yeah. And the other one that gave me inspiration was, people thought I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm a George Lucas fan. And to me, George Lucas didn't make so many movies. He made 3. And just to correct that statement also, he didn't make movie. He made the movie industry. Every movie now uses special effects, light and industry magic, right?
Yes.
So, like you talk about Terminator, you're talking about the Avatar, you're talking about any movie, Transformers.
He's a trailblazer.
Yeah,
basically.
So I thought that was brilliant, man, because he didn't make movie. He couldn't make movie. He made movie like Howard the Duck. totally useless. Wow, that one is horrible. He made Ewok movies. Oh. So what he did was the first 3 installment, and that first installment was actually experimentation on how movies to be made. And he invented devices and all those things just to make sure that he achieved what he visualized. So I used that as part of my brain work.
Your thought process also.
My thought process when I went into the entertainment industry. How to do it when it's impossible? Okay, why is it possible? What is the challenge? And create. And back then there were no editing things or third party like now. And rotoscoping. Yeah, so it was like wow. So that gave inspiration of my industry life. And then Predator gave me the never say die. Never say die. Get to the chopper. Get to the chopper. No, it didn't kill you because you were unarmed. And then some more, the fellas speak like that. How can you not forget that? Wow, he looks very muscular, but he speak like that. And he's supposed to be American already. He's still Australian.
Yeah, still got Australian accent.
Yeah.
Okay. So being such a veteran in the entertainment industry, what do you have to share with the younger generation? Like, what do you, whether is it pitfalls or advice or warnings?
Oh, sure. I think being young, because everybody goes through. I always have this philosophy in my head, because all the elements of what I read and then I combine it. It's like a little virtual book in my head. Just remember these phases of life. Okay, so there are 4 seasons, of course, the summer, the spring, and the autumn, right? But I put it simply is, when you're 1 to 10 years old, you are born into this world. Yeah, so you're born into this world means 50% of your brain is not fully functioning
yet.
Yeah, it's still in the imaginary world, it's still developing. Because the brain is already there, but the thoughts is not. All of these senses only come out later. So 1 to 10, you're born into this world. So once you know that, okay, don't worry. So we start to be more empathetic towards kids. 10 to 20, you're playing with the world. You start to realize that, hey, I explore, have this fashion, I have this blah blah blah. It's what you're playing with the world. That's 10 to 20. Okay, 20 to 30, you are now experimenting with the world. So for the youngsters, you are in the experimental stage. Experimental means not absolute truth. What do you discover are just all those things
that you're experiencing.
And these probably come from the old world, and then you wanted to experiment. And every youngsters, we're all young at once upon a time. We were all experimenting. We wanted to do something different. But that's okay. That's okay. Experiment so that it doesn't hurt yourself. That's fine. As long as it doesn't hurt yourself. So that's 20 to 30. You're experimenting with your career. You're trying to find out your identity, who you really are.
Exploration.
Exploration. What you're good at. That's 20 to 30. Yeah. But do not downplay others. I mean, it's you because you have individual taste. Okay, so that's 20 to 30. You're experimenting with it. Once you got the experiment right, 30 to 40 years old, you are conquering the world.
You are chiong.
Yeah, everybody is not smart. You are smart. That's the kind of sensation you have between 30s to 40s. The whole world is wrong. Only you are right. That's the kind of ego we're dealing with.
Right.
30 to 40 is like, what? Even the president of the world also. This is how you run the world? No, that's wrong. Everyone who in their 30s or 40s, this is the development of the ego. So you have to know how to handle your ego. You can be smart, but do not think you can outsmart others. Because if you think you're smart, there are other people who are smarter than you. But that's the problem when we are in 30s, 40s. We want to conquer the world. We want the world.
Also can
Yeah, everything can, and you want the world to do what you think is right, and think this is the way. Right? That's 30 to 40. 40 to 50 is when you begin to understand about the world. Then nobody will care about your opinion.
Nobody care. I need to write this down. This is really
nobody bother about your opinion.
True,
Yeah, because it's like there are 8.2 billion people today. It's like everybody giving their own opinions. Yeah. So 40 to 50, you start at the age of 40 plus. You've seen many action-packed dramas and all that. So you begin to understand how the world works. Oh, okay. So I was not really that right when I thought I was right when I was in my 30s.
The realization of
And it doesn't matter, why I say nobody cares about the opinion is like people do, but then again, you don't insist on your opinion. You've got to do it a little bit more subtly. Then, if people don't accept your opinion, the birds still fly in the
Life
sky.
goes on.
The tree is still green. The grass still green. Nobody cares. Who the heck are you anyway? So you begin to understand how the world works, and you tend to exercise a little bit more patience when you're 40 to 50. Yeah. So our younger thoughts, younger ideas.
This doesn't really match already.
Yeah, that's the moment where you say, I think I'm going to be like my dad. I'm beginning to speak like him. That's 40 to 50. Now that I'm 55, I'm into this 50 to 60. Now 50 to 60 is you're tired with the world already.
Tired already.
Same kind of jungle, same kind of mood. Okay, so 50 to 60, you're tired with the world. 60 and above, you just can't wait to leave this world. Go to another different world. So let me summarize that again. 1 to 10, you're born into this world. 10 to 20, you are playing with the world. 20 to 30, you are experimenting with the world. 30 to 40, you begin to understand the world. 40 to 50, you are tired with the world. 50, 60 and above, you can't wait to leave this world.
Okay, very good. Look at Zod.
Yeah, so when you fix yourself in these pillars, right, you begin to know how to behave. So for the youngsters, you're going to, if you have prolonged life, you will be old someday. So number one, don't laugh at the old people.
Okay.
Because old people, we take a look. Hey, nowadays look at Sylvester Stallone, all those action-packed movies, right? They're a bit more old now. Sylvester Stallone is 72. Yeah. For youngsters who didn't know him, never knew that was the masculinity, the American dream man, kind of like action hero.
Of man,
Yeah, and everybody, because of that, we all went to the gym.
Yes.
So he had a very powerful impact in our lives. But for youngsters, when they're teens today, tend to usually oversee this point, and you don't really respect. So first and foremost, I think we also have Asian culture. We do respect our elders, so respect them for their thoughts, for their contribution. So that makes you a little bit more humble. And then, of course, you can experiment, but do not experiment something that causes devastation to yourself, your family. Any industry is a good industry. Any industry. You could be, at the hotel doing things. And the fact is, whatever industry, I think even media and stuff like that, be the best. Be the best. Just do a show like as if it's the last show that you're ever going to do. So when we think about death, death can be a reverse psychology thing. People say when we talk about you're gonna die, joy, don't say that. No, but it gives you this opportunity to be the best. Because now question is, what if tomorrow you never wake up again?
Yes.
So this will be our very last interview. So we have to be the best.
Make sure that we make it the best, because you never know.
Yeah.
I think there was a quote called "Work like you are dying tomorrow," or "Live like you are dying tomorrow," or something like that. So that you really get that into the whole moment and not just waste the time.
True. And that somehow also cut off the evil thoughts we have on other people. So don't try to do something and harm people, because that's going to be your last opportunity. Before you go, it's nice to have a smile on your face when you say goodbye to this world. So that somehow motivates you to be the best version of yourself. And treat every project, treat everything with respect and that kind of thought, and automatically you will be the best. Without people saying you're the best, without you even trying
let your work be the best results.
And second point is do a lot of research. Read. People nowadays no time to read.
I think reading, getting knowledge is very important.
Absolutely, because nowadays, like even the National Library, no customer, so close down. It's like all online.
All online,
Yeah, because everything that we see today, people think it is even like media, for example. Those people who I wanted to do involve. So I evolved in every platform that I could get my hand into. So I was I was part of radio, I was part of TV, I went to theatre,
Also on social media.
movie, social media, and back then I was doing DVDs, producing my DVDs because I wanted to produce something more 100% creative on my own because I was also producing for TV programs for the Malay channels and also behind the scene helping out. Then I said, this structure, I wanted a little bit more unstructured, so I came up with my DVD, experimented it, did a bit of research.
So that is in your 30s to 40s.
Yeah, and the fact that something, when I wanted to do DVDs, I say I experimented the Malay version first. Because I didn't want to do movie. People say, why did you do movie? I say, no lah, only Jack Neo want to do movie, I cannot do movie. Because I don't have enough space or enough knowledge.
Jack Neo.
I have to jack you up, okay? So, but then I wanted to do DVD because it was cheaper. Didn't cost me that much. If I get into trouble, I don't fall into the longkang. So I thought, okay. But then again, someone came up to me, a very experienced person, and he said, don't waste time. Suhaimi, don't waste your money, don't waste your time. You sell Malay DVD, only 500 copies only. Huh? So I say, seriously, what is this? Nobody buy lah. People buy Malaysian one, people buy this, you waste your time. But you see, when I went home, I wasn't demotivated because of that, but it sets me thinking. So I said, how come only 500? So I checked, it's true. Hey, how come 300, 500 pieces only? Well, how do you do business like that, right? Selling VCDs and DVDs like that, the one volume. So it sparks me to do a little bit more intense research. So the question was, why?
Yeah, why?
Why people are not buying, right? Yeah. So when I did research, so I bought 50 local DVDs, studied over 3 months, went around every part of this whole ecosystem, and then I realized because those DVDs were made, what we call syok sendiri, it's like you only do for yourself. I expect people to. No, it's like like a cook lah. You cook something you like. But the customers don't like. And when the customers don't like, you scold the customer, right? No, you make the food for the customers, not for you. So that was the first shift. To cut the story short, after putting all these formulas, did research over 3 months, and then after that I did my own. So I was doing the script, I was acting because I didn't want to get anybody involved because this is really hardcore experimentation. Guess how many, my first VCD, which was sold in 2004, instead of 500 copies, in Singapore alone, I sold 75,000 copies.
Wow! You break the curse.
I told Jack Neo, I sold first, my DVD beat you already.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and almost about 100,000 was pirated in Malaysia. So I don't care really, I was so happy.
You've done whatever you can, man. 500 to 75,000.
Yeah, that was like beyond my projection. I was like, wow. And you know why? Because you do it with compassion. You do it with passion. You do it with full research. So that's my take for youngsters. If you want to do today like podcasts, you want to do, it's not just about podcasts. It's not just about YouTube videos and stuff like that. It's about human psychology. Yeah. You got to go into the inner brain.
Like really sincere and serious about doing what you want to do, and not just for the sake of doing it.
Yes. So people are excited about the technical things, but people didn't realize that at the end of the day, there's this Gerd Leonard. Gerd Leonard is a futurist. So he spoke at about 52 over countries. So he said, something like about the future of media. You can find this on YouTube or anything. Gerd Leonard, his name. Leonhard. So he said, because he was involved in media, he was 15 years in the music industry, then he decided to shift and become a speaker and teaching this. So he said, the way, we'll talk about the media future, the way to the future is to become human again.
Wow, deep. But I think I know where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so like, don't worry about this AI stuff and things like that. Nobody's gonna threaten you lah. Yeah, it's to become human again. Because AI can't do charity. AI, Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he said the Terminator, why are you crying? That is something I cannot do. I mean, you can make the AI cry or whatever robots can cry, but the emotions, the senses, it doesn't come. It only admits to the specialty of being a human. So to be human, must have empathy, and even though it can be captured in a technical realm of this AI thing, but it cannot and can never.
You simulate the real thing.
You can't fall in love with C3PO. You cannot share your emotions and then expect a emotional reply from T1000.
T1000.
You cannot do that.
Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Get out of here. Yeah. So whatever it is, I mean, for the young people, please experiment. I mean, I had my fun days of experimenting as well. But do bear in mind, respect the elders. Take them, because these are golden knowledge. I like to mix around with the older people because I saw blueprints of myself, future blueprint. And then the more I mix with the older people, right, the more I saw how they end up, and I can pick and choose how my future.
How you want to preview? It's a preview.
Yeah. So and of course, be careful with your money.
Okay, great. Right. So before we close, I need you to help me close.
Okay. I am Optimus Prime, and I send you this message. Thank you for watching Uncut. Catch you again on the next episode.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye.
Transform. Thank you, Bumblebee.
Hey, it's time now to say goodbye. I am Barney too.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope I didn't talk nonsense.
No, it's very good.
But I always wanted to ask you, uncut in Malay.
I know.
Uncut means not
Not
circumcised.
circumcised. Yeah, I know. I know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.